And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Endless Legends as the Necrophage in our second stream. This will be the fourth part in the second stream. We're pretty close to winning. We'll see if we can actually eke out a win during the stream here. Might not be during this part. I might have to do a fifth part to get that to happen. We'll see how well the next war goes. Okay. I'm not gonna have you. Probably can win this fight. Without a resolve with no casualties. Yeah. There we go. That completes that main objective quest, giving us 25 palladium. We now know our enemy. Next quest is Legends of the Endless. Conquer 3 new regions through colonization or by capture of their cities to get the incubation orb. Minus 100% life on unit, can be equipped by Necrophage heroes only. From the time of the Endless draws life energy from those who carry it. Young incubator. Okay. So presumably that plays in an interaction with some other mechanic, because otherwise that's a really bad item with minus 100% life. I assume we're going to have a quest that interacts with something. Skill tree. Grab that one. Initiative life. Accessory slot. I need to get over to there, right? So do I want to go... Oh, I think we go up there. Okay. And then the Battleborn are going to get sold for money, because we need money more than we need Battleborn at the moment. Burrow Street's done. Right away's done. Dust Dredger's done. Okay, refit the army to the modern standard. I'll likely get my armies deployed on the western border, and we'll probably start something by the time we're there, because I think the truce period is just about to end. We'll be back in Cold War at that point. Oh, we've already got our 2 extractors for that, so we've now got augmented extractors with +1 yield for all the extractors. That's nice. Thinking I want to try to recruit a forger here. 7 turns is a long time, but we think forger is going, because I know with single core done, we now have 8 empty infantry, or 8 infantry army spot, or Second, 8 army spots open on our armies. There's a couple different ways for us to fill those. I'm gonna mirror that army in case war breaks out. I think we're at the point where the treaty has ended. I think our treaty has ended. Ah, well, there's also an influence cost to declaring war. We may need them to declare war on us. Weird as that may sound, I may need them to declare on us. Where are you? Okay, I think we're gonna go another forger there. A few more forgers. That's close enough to the frontage where we can get the reinforce the army pretty quick. And with a build time like 6 turns, it's got to be close. Okay, here comes winter. So we'll have to do a quick once through on all the cities and make sure we're not starving anywhere. Oh, and of course, the new effect for this winter is minus trade route bonus. Any starvation? Not. Well, it probably shouldn't be in the capital. Okay, food positive there. Food positive there. We probably are food positive, like everywhere. And it's got vaguely modern buildings. Food neutrality is close enough. Okay, we're going to be deficit spending for the moment, but I think that's fine. Oh, no, if we get all the luxury boosters going, apparently, we are happy. And the dust increase from that is just enough to cover all the upkeep costs. This may be a long winter. We're giving prediction of 11 to 23 turns. Okay, you finished everything that's in the queue there. Although I probably do want forgers near the front, and you're probably one of the better places to build them. Down south. We can get 4, which will fill up the 2 Bothern armies in 6 turns. Okay. And that's not necessarily a bad idea, because we might want to wait until the end of winter anyway to enter the attack. And we'll add some dust-producing buildings in after that. Oh, and science on terrain. No, actually, no, this one we're not doing because we don't want to put the pops on science. Ideally, I like to do industry or dust, or depends on what's going on, but okay, you can be a forger. Come join these two. And then he'll be done in 3. Okay. Science on City Center. Yeah. This is decently large ones. The city's science on City Center is decent. Okay. Yeah, once all those new units are built and in their armies, we'll probably declare the war, even if it's a little bit before the winter ends. Or they're going to declare the war. I don't think that was a smart play on their behalf, but... Enemy troops have made a successful withdrawal. And yeah, if the one field army we know they have is not willing to fight us, then they're not in a good position. We're being told the city will lose population on the next turn. Has something changed that caused the food production to go down? Fix that so that it won't happen. Thank you for warning me. They're attacking us. Auto, ready, victory, complete destruction of enemy forces. Given we're currently actually being penalized by winter, the fact that this guy has the don't be penalized by winter effect on him means I will actually go on the offensive with the Battleborn in tow. Because he's actually mitigating the effects enough that it compensates for the fact the army's slower otherwise. Can't quite reach the city, but we'll be able to lay siege to that city next turn. Let me just did you. Okay. When you leveled up. Yeah, so we're back on the offensive again. A little bit earlier than planned, but it's not going badly, so that's acceptable. Plans are flexible. Moving forward some of my newly trained infantry. Preparation to get them adding into armies. Siege started over here. have anything else we want to build there? Dust refinery, yeah. We're probably on trying to build the city to try to get some more support in the city. Oh, this is a oddly positioned city. Practical purposes. Because of the village there. Dust refinery, plow. Yeah, that looks fine. Siege is going well. They'll probably sally there next turn. Siege is going well. One of the places sallied. Draw. Okay, so we didn't hit them hard enough in response to the sally for them to be completely destroyed. And they did sally in the other location. And there we win. Oh, I'm out of action, so I can't do the emergency. That's what we'd be doing next. There. Okay, so that was a decisive turn. 2 more cities have fallen to us. Their capital is under siege. They're on the back foot pretty much everywhere. Quest treasure for money, dust refinery, glass steel extractor because we can. We'll check back in later. Up here. Dust treasure for money. Oh, they have the refinery here already. Or no, this is dust filtration, but basically the same difference. Industry extraction. Let me check in later. You've leveled up. Okay. Our defensive campaigns prove fruitful. Oh, I got a place that needs something to build. Get us more dust so we can afford the upkeep for the armies that grow and attack. We've already conquered 14 out of the 26 required to achieve an expansion victory. Winter ends in 5 to 17 turns, so we know the winter is not ending anytime soon. One of my cities doesn't have something assigned to build. That one. Pixie blood extractor. And then given what we've got queued up, probably a burrow. Here we go. And then we'll cycle the turn, and we'll see how the enemy sallies, if they sally from this location. They do have an army here, so this might not go all our way. Although we got reinforcements that are coming from the neighboring city, so who knows? Or the in-game auto resolve, roughly no. No, it doesn't even look like they care. They're just gonna accept their capital's falling, which is fair enough. So I'm going to continue prosecuting this war like we're not about to win. So we're laying siege to that location. We'll probably... If we were to continue a couple more turns, we'd probably be attacking it in a couple of turns. We're going to attack here. There actually isn't a garrison, so the place falls. Conquered 3 new regions, so we gain the incubation orb, advancing our main quest. Less is more. Givers of Remembrance. Reduce species breed of Givers of Remembrance. Lesser Givers only collect and share battlefield lessons between armies rather than all the histories in the hive. Okay. If we assimilate 2 manufactions. We are doomed to be nothing more than nothing but killing machines. I have seen the evidence. The Endless made us to be killers, and they made us well. That basically describes the fact that we've won the game, yes. My hope it will be that we become something more than our nature lies ruins. Carissa's generation and savagery is complete. Nothing occupies his mind other than the next fight, the next feed. We are killers, and I have found peace with that. We are what we are, and we will survive. Eggs that we scatter to the darkest corners of this land will see to that. For that, though, our numbers must fall until only the strongest, the most fiercest, the most tenacious stalk our hives. Only then will we ensure that the gene line is ready for the challenge of the wait the other side of the long winter. Okay. I think technically we've won, so I'm not going to be too focused on doing exactly the best of stuff. Although we're gonna play like we haven't necessarily won, just in case we haven't. Until the victory bell rings, play like you're still got another round. You're gonna lose population. Let's make sure there's enough people making food that that's not the case. There we go. We are victorious by supremacy. I believe we control enough. Yeah, I'll just set the score screen here. We control enough of the capitals at this point because we control those capitals. So basically all the capitals are either controlled by us or not controlled by the original person. So this is the overall score, so you can see how the score was over the game. One player in the higher difficulties, there's some cheats in favor of the AI, so you can see the AI actually takes off ahead of us a little bit. So that's the Ardent Mages. So red and orange fought each other, and I fought green. Yeah, I fought green. So red gets off to an early start, I think, with driving down orange, which is why they sort of slightly pull ahead behind here, and then stagnating, probably as the war starts off, drop as they die. Orange dies around about when I'm starting to fight green, which was actually a little bit of a surprise that red and orange were fighting each other. I wasn't paying that level of attention. I didn't realize that. We ended up taking green out shortly after orange, and then we began getting ready. We ended up with a war. That was during this stream. With a war with red. We had a couple setbacks in the middle here, where both of our numbers are going down. That's our armies colliding. Well, that's my auxiliary garrison armies colliding with their armies, and we're basically just deleting troops back and forth. And then I go on the offensive, which means they're on the defensive, and we're much better sort of in quantity of taking cities than they were, so our score goes up, their score goes down, until the end. And obviously the capitals and the cities near the end are probably more valuable than the cities near the beginning. That's what's going on with the score there. Military. And yeah, and also one of the reasons Twitch chat just popped in and said, "Oh, nice win. Sorry, I was out." Yeah, it was maybe a little bit sudden. Orange declared on us, and we were reasonably prepared to attack them. So it was one of those scenarios where, if the AI was more cognizant of the balance of powers, they probably should have delayed the war, but they did in the end. Military-wise, yes. So, supremacy victory is, I think technically on this one it was control 2 capitals, because we were playing with 4 people, so it's control control 2 foreign capitals. So it's basically control 2 of the other 3 capitals, including Europe. So I took over Green's capital, and I don't think I took Orange capital. I think I took Red's capital. I was pretty sure I took Red's capital at the end. So the person we were fighting wasn't completely down for the count. In theory, we could have probably continued playing until they were, but we took their capital. As far as I was aware, all their field armies were destroyed, and I think they had like 2 cities left. So it wouldn't have been that hard to play out the rest of the way of completely annexing them. They were definitely down for the count. Military, we can see that we're actually arguably behind in military, at least military quality, because this is military score, until we take out green. Well, until we start like preparing to take out green. The early fights at the green, we see us dropping. And it looks like this is also around about when red was fighting orange. So orange starts stagnating, then dies, and then as we're fighting green, we get green destroyed. And then we start to modernize our troops, and red's modernizing their troops, and we're all just sweeping up until the big fights are happening. And red wasn't able to handle the attritional exchange. So we kept going up, and they sort of stagnate and then fall off. Part of the reason we're going up so exponentially is not that our field army is necessarily getting strong. We're generating a lot of Battleborn, and because the Battleborn have default movement speed, I was often leaving them behind as garrisons. So a lot of the cities we were taking were pretty heavily garrisoned, and it's one of the reasons they were not necessarily being able to take any territory back. Expansion, so this is... I think this is actually no, this is... we got this population one as well. Maybe this is tiles. Because 70... I didn't take over 70 regions, right? So this has to be something like tiles. And that makes sense. We're about tile equivalent. If anything, we're a little bit behind on tiles, right? Early on, because the AI, again, we're on hard difficulty, so the AI gets a little bit of a handicap, so they take off a little bit in the earlier game. And then I was also basically playing one city until we start taking stuff. So we start taking stuff and we catch up pretty quickly. Or no, actually, I start building the one city up once we have the sort of basic buildings going. And then in here, when we start fighting, which is why, well, I say me and red start fighting, green and orange. So you see them start to stagnate and go down. And then as we're doing it, obviously we're going up. And then I'm growing the new cities, and red's growing the new cities, and then we start fighting, and that results in a tile transfer from red to me, which is why we go shooting up and they go shooting down. Simple sort of thing in population. I don't think I lost any of the population that I took from red, so as a general rule, my population, it just goes up. And then obviously everyone's losing population when they lose stuff. Research. That's stagnation when they die, obviously. And you can see I'm actually behind a tech. Right. This is a supremacy win. This is not a tech win. The Necrophage swarm needs not know everything. It needs just know how to fight and kill and conquer. And I think every 9 techs is an era. And you get equipment improvements every era. So arguably, we were actually probably fighting behind the 8-ball on equipment most of the time. Alright, so this would have been around where we swapped from Tier 1 to Tier 2. Everyone at that point was in theory in Tier 3, so we were fighting Tier 3 guys with Tier 2 guys. And these two of the 3 opposition are dead by the time we're even in Tier 3. And we're in Tier 3, and Red, in theory... Granted, Red maybe wasn't equipping very fast. Red could have been running Tier 4 already. We did eventually get into Tier 4, which would have been around about 27, so that would have been around about here. Which is maybe why a lot of the end fights were pretty easy. Were auto-resolvable. Food. You can see the winters here. Going along. The first winter is not very harsh, the second winter is not very harsh. Although most of us we're making enough food that we're not starving during winter is what's going on, so. First winter, second winter. Third winter was actually pretty close after the second one. Well, I'm taking on losing territory is probably what's going on in here, so very noisy in there. That's a winter. That's a winter. The last war was during winter, so that was a winter. And then this was the winter, and they started the war in the winter. And you can see probably what's going on here is one of the reasons why I'm starting to take off is I've solved the food problem. So our cities are growing during winter. Industry. Usually I'm trying not to move off of industry most of the game, so as population goes up, industry just goes up. Dust. Dust upkeep in particular goes up during winter. And we're definitely in a situation where I'm deficit spending during winter, so that's a winter. That might actually not be a winter, I'm not so sure. Or maybe that is a winter, and that's winter. It was a winter at the end. But mostly we don't have enough upkeep that we can stay positive. And then it gets noisier near the end. Science. Most of the game I'm behind in science, so that's not surprising. They die off, so their science goes up. Red goes up and down as their territory falls into my hands. But I'm not necessarily turning it into very good science. It's falling into my hands is what's going on there. Then it goes back up again, because presumably they're improving their science as I'm building up buildings and they're building up buildings. I provide science, and then I take stuff off of them, and I'm still not as great converting their science into my science as I take the stuff over. Probably because I'm just swapping everyone off of science back to industry. Influence. Most of my influence is pretty consistent. There's a couple buildings that I have that provide influence when we're happy. So if we have enough luxuries on board, that's where that is. That's a stretch where we have enough luxuries on board that the cities are happy. The cities are happy. The cities are happy. Otherwise, it's just a smooth growth as the cities grow, because the city tiles in particular provide influence. And Twitch chat says, "Eat and so hungry." Yes, we are the swarming, consuming empire, apparently made by the Endless, specifically to fight and feed. In Empire approval and yeah, all over the place. Start around 60, and we're down, and we're up, we're down, we're up, we're down, we're up. One of the things that was keeping it hard to stay up on approval is obviously we're taking over cities, and cities provide approval, disapproval malices. The more you have, so the more stuff I take from other people, the lower my approval gets. And of course, the better their approval gets, because now they're not taking their malices from their cities. Diplomacy, maybe not surprise. Actually, surprising that we're in the lead with diplomacy. So I think you have to know people to get diplomacy, right? So, the beginning we find one person, which I think was Orange, and then Orange presumably found Red, right? So, me and Red are going up at one rate. Orange is going up at a different rate. I then find Green. So that's why I'm going faster than Red. Okay. And we're going up, we're going up, we're going up. And I think someone... yeah, so the person both me and Red knows dies, which is Orange. Orange dies. Then Green dies. And at that point, I'm ahead of Red, so that makes sense why I'm ahead of Red. And there's a jump here from us doing doing the peace deal. So that's why I'm a little bit ahead there. Doesn't make a big difference. And then the quests, which, again, the AI... Because the AI gets a slight handicap, the AI was able to get ahead on quests. Although they were struggling to maybe stay ahead near the end as the fighting was going on. But yes, growing hungry swarm, always hungry. And that is Endless Legends. I could probably let's load the autosave here. And figure out if this is the autosave before we won or after we won. It should be pretty easy to see. Yes, so this is after we won. So I'm gonna continue playing here and we can look at the map. Oh, and apparently we are getting attacked, which so that's another one of their field armies just getting destroyed. Like that might have been them sallying down here. Twitch chat's asking, or Twitch chat's thanking me for the run, so thanks for the thanks. We did record, actually, this is the 4th part tonight. So there won't be Humankind tonight. It's coming up on 2 a.m. Wouldn't be able to record very much of Humankind, so I think that's best to start next time. So this was Red's capital here. So this is what we'd just taken the previous turn before the autosave. And if we wanted to win, right, we just have to take effectively win again. We have to take this city and take this city. And in fact, this is where they just sallied. So there we go. So there's one city left to take. That city probably wouldn't take very long to take. So we could win twice here pretty quickly. We actually wanted to continue playing. Oh, it shows Red has 3 cities. I don't know where the 3rd city is. That status isn't, I think, it doesn't update until the next turn, so it's still counting that one. But this one, I don't know where the 3rd one is. I got the 3rd one somewhere. Maybe somewhere in here. But yeah, and you can see how little, because I was on the warpath, how little of the map actually got taken. This whole portion over here that's just like, yep, no, there's territory over there. You can have it if you want it. No one cares about it. But that was the game. I hope everyone has enjoyed the run. If you're watching up to this point on YouTube and or Twitch, let me bring the schedule up so I can review what the schedule is going to be for the next couple days. I do need to remember to update the schedule once this video is done being recorded. So today was Endless Legends, and oh, I definitely need to update it because it's not even showing what's supposed to be tomorrow. Tomorrow should be Terra Invicta, so we'll be continuing Terra Invicta. The day after that will be free colonization, so free col. Continuing the run with France. I'm thinking we should be able to get it done, hopefully, during the next stream. If we get it done early enough, I'll at least do the planet creation on Shadow Empire. If not, it depends on how early we get it done. But we'll probably do Shadow Empire, or at least start Shadow Empire on Friday. Or no, am I doing this out of order? No, it'd be Saturday. So So tomorrow is Terra Invicta. Day after that is Farthest Frontier. Day after that is Free Coal, and then the day after that will be Humankind. We'll start a new run on Humankind, and we'll turn the difficulty up a little bit. We'll see how that goes. And Twitch chat's going, I think you said Saturday is Free Call. Yes, Saturday is Free Call. I need to update the schedule. The schedule hasn't... I've still got the schedule up from last week. Because of how Twitch does scheduling. It's a cycling 7-day schedule. It's supposed to be repeat. So the time... Like, I try to record every night, right? So I need to... I haven't updated the last couple nights. Usually I update it with what the next stream will be in 4 days, based on how the previous stream goes. Like, so it didn't make sense to say update Sunday stream until I know whether or not Endless Legend or not finished. So now I can update it with saying, hey, we finished Endless Legends, it'll be Humankind. 4 days from Tuesday should be Saturday, so Saturday should be Free Call. Friday would be 4 days from Monday, so that should be Farthest Frontier. And then Thursday, which is tomorrow, should be Terra Invicta. But that's what I need to go remember to do as soon as we're done with the stream, is update the schedule. So yeah, I'm gonna go update the schedule as soon as the stream's done. If you got any comments on Twitch, I see teachers responding to me to saying I need to update the schedule on Twitch. It's like, yeah. Yeah, we'll undo that. So if you've got any comments, feel free to let me know, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch. This is probably the last call for comments during this stream. I will answer some comments after the stream is over. With that, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or next stream, and bye for now.